Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I've been trying to record the crypto video for the last hour, but APH stole my attention and stole the show. So Reddit's going to be happy with this video today. It's going to be APH leading things off. Then we'll look at CGC, Cron, ACB, N, OGI, and HEXO. The most notable thing today is breaks in correlation, and I loved to see that because now we have plays that are bullish while other names are consolidating, and there's always plays to be had now when we get this kind of scenario. So that's ideal for traders. Whether it's bullish or bearish, we got volatility all over the place. So we had news come out fairly recently that there is a mutual fund in Canada coming up, and CBIC is the bank that is behind that. But it's very clear now that a lot of this strength recently has to do with mutual funds buying for their positions as well to allocate their assets. So that is definitely a factor, and I would not be surprised to see APH getting added today. Something's going on with APH, and I did swing a position. I was not planning on it, as I'm traveling all day tomorrow, and I'm going to be landing. I got a window between my flights of about 20 minutes before the open and 30 minutes after the open. So that's enough for me to make some decisions. And what was going on today at the end of the day for APH is either news is coming or just a ton of loading for this mutual fund with no regard for what the price is. And I say that because the 5-minute time frame just was a straight shot at the end of the day. And I rode the initial bull move up, and then I said, all right, I'm going to take some profit. I'm not going to be able to watch tomorrow. And then when I saw that sustained buying, I said, all right, I got to get into a position just in case. I'm willing to take that risk. It's been a good day, and I don't mind risking some of that profit. So where we stand on APH, not many resistance levels left here. We're looking up at 2260 and 2356 before that all-time high. We're obviously very overextended in the short term, but the bulls are in absolute full control in the short term as well. So at this point, we have to be cautious because it's one of those scenarios where we don't have any support established. So if we see a gap up open tomorrow, it's one of those scenarios where we might see a gap up, a push first thing, and then a start for some consolidation to find a support level. Because again, we can very easily fall back quickly through these levels just because support was not established. 2085 is a support level, but other than that, very little nearby. So keep that in mind. We'll see how the open goes, how strong of an open it is. And we're going to be, I mean, the euphoria going on right now for APH, like I said, it's either mutual fund establishing a position. It's either, large hedge funds establishing a position. We still have the rumors of Diageo. Is that right? Third time? Diageo, maybe. That's a rumor that is obviously backing things up. We still don't have a listing on the major U.S. stock exchange. So right now, it's definitely limiting for me to play APHQF. I can't put stop loss orders because it's trading on the OTC, and the bid and the ask spread is not ideal, and it takes longer for my market orders take longer to fill than they do for CGC and names on the NYSE or the NASDAQ. So a dual listing that is uplisted is something to look forward to on APH as well. So the bottom line, bulls in full control. Lack of support means we're going to see volatility tomorrow morning, absolutely. On the hourly time frame, anything above 1923 is a higher low, so we're not at risk of losing any kind of uptrend anytime soon. And really, it's just a question of, do we need to consolidate and establish a higher low before we see much further upside? And we just have to be watching to see what kind of open we get, to see how strong the dip buying is. Once we do see consolidation, what's the volume look like on that action? So that's what we're going to be keeping an eye out for on APH tomorrow. Again, I did swing a position just to expose myself to that end-of-day strength, and I will be looking to remain protective on that position and not give back any of today's profits by doing anything fancy tomorrow. I'll probably just be locking in profit, ideally, and going on my way. So CGC today, and again, very notable, the break of correlation. That is a great sign for the sector as a whole and for traders. So we're not going to be tied to CGC. Definitely always a factor to be aware of, but it's also very easy to note when that correlation does break. And it happened with a bunch of individual names, which we're going to look at here in just a moment. So CGC on the daily time frame, this looks very similar to our last daily period of consolidation, with our gap up, our 180 turnaround and profit taking, a lower open the next day, and then the lower wick of bulls buying the dip. So here's our lower wick of bulls buying the dip. We had a scenario here this morning. So the previous video that I pointed out yesterday was the pattern, this equilibrium. And the bulls wanted to hold this pattern. We had the lower open, and what stood out notable for me was the fact that we broke the support level of 48.63 this morning and didn't dump. We did see bulls buy that dip. That's notable. So oftentimes a clear bear break with a lack of follow through or a clear bull break with a lack of follow through can be taken as a signal. So as soon as I saw that happen and a lack of follow through, I zoom out to the 4-hour time frame and I say, put on the extended hours, and I say, all right, well, we're looking for a higher low on the 4-hour. And the fact that we broke support and didn't dump means that we're probably closer to forming that 4-hour higher low. So I had a slight bullish lean in my mindset from there on out, and I did trade CGC a bunch today, just a handful of small scalps because it was a little bit choppy. And once the 15-minute time frame showed us the way, that's when we got some more confidence. So here's the 15-minute time frame. We dumped, we broke that support, didn't see a ton of follow through, set a lower high, little higher low. We saw an initial bull break, just another lower high if you're looking to the high of the day. Then we pulled back and it established a very clear lower high pattern. So I was done trading after the first hour, went about my day and did some things, and I came back and saw this very clear downtrend on the 15-minute. I said, all right, if this breaks, I have interest in CGC again. Our last lower high was 49.47, and we double topped at that level on the 5-minute chart. We hit 49.47, and then right here, 49.47 a couple times. As soon as that broke, I entered a bullish position and then scaled out on the way up into strength and then switched my focus to APH at the end of the day. So CGC had some nice signals, and at this point, we're looking for the 4-hour time frame. Can the bulls give us signals that our 4-hour higher low has formed now at 47.85? That the bulls are going to show back up, and if they do, I would be looking for a 4-hour equilibrium. If we get follow through in a green day tomorrow, we're going to look for a lower high somewhere in the mid $50 range, the low $50 range, and look for a tightening 4-hour pattern as the most likely scenario. Hourly time frame changing trend will make us confident that our 4-hour higher low has formed. So key resistance, break 51.22, and the odds that our 4-hour higher low is in are very, very likely. If we cannot break that level, we need a higher low compared to 48.33 and then a bull break for continuation. So bottom line is the consolidation that we're seeing at this point is still healthy. We had a solid red day at the start of the day on CGC, just slow and steady dip buying the second half of the day. The increasing bull volume definitely stands out. That is not a normal second half of the day pattern. And to see it happen with the bulls finally showing up, again, it's notable. So the sector is still strong at this point, and there is still plenty of bullish opportunity, and there's plenty of bearish opportunity as well. TLRY, Cron, and CGC all had significant bear opportunity as well. So again, the day trading space, or the day trading opportunity in this space, is so huge right now, where again, it's so easy that I don't have to pick out a play every morning. I just wake up and say, I'm looking at CGC and these major Canadian MJ names, and I know there's going to be trading opportunity, and that's all I need to be watching for today. And the fact that we're a month away, maybe 5 weeks away now from mid-October, that we are likely to see this kind of volatility keep up until then. Maybe it's going to slow down a little bit, but in terms of, opportunity, it's going to be there for a long time with volatility all back and forth. So WEED, just to get the same levels, again, same consolidation for the hourly time frame to break resistance, it's 67.50. That would make us convinced that our 4-hour higher low has formed. Excuse me. So there's our 4-hour higher low. Very easily a higher low, as the last one was 56. This one's currently trying at 63.03, and we need the follow through from the bulls tomorrow. It is currently a 4-hour inside bar for both CGC and WEED that do need to break bullish. Support is 63.82 and 63.03, and we'll see if the bulls can see continuation or if we're going to have to remain pretty tight before a break does occur. The first hour of trading tomorrow is going to let us know if our 4-hour higher low is in and we get a bull break over the high of today, or if we reject from the high of today and need to pull back and form a higher low and stay in a tightening range. Cron with a pullback today. So we're just looking for a daily higher low on Cron. Anything above 854 will do it. Long lower wicks of bulls buying the dips the past 2 days have to see this hourly trend change just like everybody else. So we had our hourly high, low, lower high, and the bear break occurred right at the open, and we didn't see the kind of follow through on Cron and kind of recovery that we saw on CGC. We've got our low, high of the bounce is $12 psychological resistance. Our higher low is 1131, and that's the range. 1131 to 12 is the range to be watching first thing, and after 1131 comes 1091. So a little bit weaker, the 4-hour time frame, a little bit less convincing that our higher low has formed just yet, but it's also an inside bar. So very similar pattern to CGC. Definitely the correlation for Cron and CGC was still there today, and SPY had a weak day. So you have to be asking yourself, is the fact, obviously there was a lot of buying pressure behind APH, but is the fact that CGC and TLRY and Cron were the clear lead bears in the Canadian MJ sector today, along with ACB, or ACB. So they're all trading on the US Stock Exchange, and the US Stock Exchange was extremely weak this morning. SPY was dumping, and it was one of the weaker mornings that we've seen on SPY in the recent past. And I have no doubt that that is a reason that all these names were green, and the fact that APH is not exposed to that correlation with bots and algos linking together the trading with what the S&P 500 is doing, I do believe that that was a bit of a weight that was off of the shoulders of the APH bulls today that allowed them to have such a strong move. ACB. So ACB is not looking good compared to everybody else. We know that. It's been that case for a while now. We broke into the low. This is the lowest price that we've seen now since August 23rd. And just looking at everybody else, obviously, if we were that week, August 23rd is when we're looking down here on CGC in the low 40s. So obviously, we're not even comparable to that weakness right now. So APH is a clear downtrend with an hourly lower high and then lower low pattern. At this point, support is 607, or make that 807. Support is 807, followed by 803, and then 8 psychological. And in terms of resistance, it's 826, 836, and 852. So again, the bulls have a lot of proving to do. It's just not an environment where you want to be trading ACB at this point. It's dead money compared to what other names are doing. So as a trader, I'm always moving around to the names where the opportunity is, and obviously ACB does not have that opportunity. So while it's worth keeping an eye on and checking in on it every couple of days or every day even, in terms of, you know, trying to nail the bottom, and this is when we're going to get the turnaround for the ACB bulls to finally show up, it's just not ideal to try and time that. It's better to wait and just trade the names that have the trend in their favor. So end with a huge move today. Following through with the strength, we did see profit taking yesterday, but not significant. We had that hourly equilibrium, and this is another one like APH that broke it bullish. We never broke it bearish, so giving a lot of confidence to the bulls. Held support of 263, bull break of 289 was signal number 1, 292 was the second signal, and of course we closed strong. Resistance from this point is 308, and then we have to go all the way back to 318 is the next level after that, and then 337. Very strong move. Again, these names are very overextended. Just the fact that we're very bullish in the short term doesn't mean that we can't see a day on end like where we opened at 286 and the low of the day was down well over 10% below that level. So again, obviously the volatility is going to be here on all these names, and there's going to be, let's just say it really bluntly, there's going to be lots of people that give back lots of profit on this bull move in MJ, and it's just all about keeping, you know, tempered expectations in the sense that we just have to know the main outline of what's going to happen. We're going to run. We've already been running really hard. We're going to continue to run for a certain period of time. We're going to hit a top eventually, whether that's just before the vote, just after the vote, into the winter. That's all everybody's own opinion. For me personally, I think that we're going to hit our top shortly after October, and we're going to consolidate for a couple weeks at least. Multiple week consolidation. But the bottom line is we're going to see multiple weeks of consolidation, and then we're going to see multiple months of consolidation. And we get in this mindset where we're so familiar with this bullish action that you just wait for Reddit. As soon as we hit the temporary top and we start consolidating for a few weeks, we're going to have people that are in red positions because they entered late in the game, and they're going to be really scared, and they're going to be, you know, talking about, is it over? Is the bull run over? And you just have to keep perspective. If you're in this on the monthly time frame, this action, you know, it shouldn't matter, these day-to-day action moves. If you're in this on a weekly time frame, then it definitely does matter. And if you're in this on a daily time frame, then obviously you're paying a lot more attention to the short-term moves. But the bottom line is just be prepared. We know we're going to pull back and have multiple months of consolidation at some point, and that doesn't mean that we can't still be in a bullish market overall. So we'll certainly be looking for signs of any red flags. Bear volume will be a big red flag, but that's obviously not in sight right now. And as far as whether we're going to see sell news October 17th, that's not even on my mind until October. Don't even have to think about it, because the entire game plan will be dependent on what the week before the vote looks like. If it's a raging bull move, absolutely, we're going to look to sell the news. If it is a dump, then we're going to look to see a bounce probably before that news. So it all depends on when the profit taking starts as we head into that vote. So, and on the hourly support levels, looking at 292, and then there's a lack of hourly support. So again, just be cautious. We ran really hard. The last clear hourly support is 263, and we're going to have to establish another hourly support likely tomorrow. OGI had a very nice close, and this is a good setup into tomorrow because we have such a clear resistance zone here. 675, 673, 73, 75. Bulls need to break this level first thing tomorrow, and the next level after that, I believe that's our all-time high. So that would be great for the Bulls to start tomorrow off with an all-time high. We'll look at $7 psychological resistance as the next level. The hourly support, anything above 638 will maintain an hourly higher low. So again, same thing. We're a bit extended. We've run a bunch since that last hourly higher low, and we can expect to need to form an hourly higher low at some point tomorrow. But overall, not a whole lot of resistance, and we'll see if the Bulls can make it up towards $7. HEXO had a huge run and follow through. Very notable bull volume, gap, and run scenario today. Again, hourly time frame, we do not have a clear hourly higher low. 607, the low of the day, is that mark. So this is the kind of move where if we see a gap up open on a name that has run the entire day and had a huge day, we can expect some profit taking because there's a lack of support immediately below wherever we open tomorrow. So it all depends on how the first 10 minutes go. If we consolidate the first 10 minutes, the Bulls could buy that dip and see continuation for the Bulls throughout the morning. Or if we start and just run for the first 10 minutes, have no support below us, that's when we see quick profit taking and a quick drop once that temporary top is in. Keyword being temporary top. So resistance on HEXO, high of today is up at 710, and the next resistance, that's all-time high. So 750 psychological, or you could even just look 720, 30, 40, so on and so forth. That's about every 1.5% or so. So bottom line is, if I'm on my own here trading this space, I have a list where I'm writing the weakest names in MJ, and I'm keeping an eye on them to see if there's laggard plays. I have the strongest names in MJ, and I'm watching how it's trading comparative to CGC. What are correlations looking like? And that's how I would be keeping an eye on the sector overall. So again, congrats to the Bulls, significant gains. And this opportunity favors short-term traders in the sense that we can exit a name like CGC at $56 pre-market 2 days ago, and then have our cash to play a move like APH today. And obviously, it just depends on what you're comfortable with, what your style is, whether you're an investor or a trader. And there's no right or wrong answer to which that is. I appreciate you watching, and I'm going to be flying all day tomorrow. I'll get a video out at some point over the weekend, probably Saturday night or so. I will see you then. Good luck tomorrow.